That's my bike, which I sold to come over here. 500 BMW. Here is a picture of the boat. That was the Seven Seas. And there we have breakfast or something in the dining room. Here is just a picture with my favorite coat. Seven Seas machinery. And here I ended up in sunshine, driving the Bombardier snowmobile. And this is the big monster to make track, so the Bombardier could get up to the top of a mountain. Here we had some parties. On the bottom it's me and somebody. And the other one was Jim Davies. He was there cleaning up dishes in a hotel. But that was just a party in a birdcage. And there we had some beer and Loganberry wine. Yeah. $3 a bottle. And this was a Junkers aeroplane that kind of slipped in here, but it's okay. And we hired that one to fly fuel across the Richardson Mountains to supply a drill ship, a rig with fuel to drill a hole. And it took a year, and I had to fly in the winter time, but I flew a Norseman, 4 drums in the back, and about 2 and 3 trips a day. And then it started out in the darkness and ended up dark. And if the weather, that's the Norseman. That's the picture for my friend in the back. Now this is a tiger moth. Belonged to Al Gates in Banfield in Air Service, but he got killed getting his plane fixed. It had a wing on top of the car, and then he drove back to Lake Louise and slipped and rolled down into the Bow River. And then this small air service was gone in Banff, and the parks were glad, I guess, because they didn't want it in the first place. And then after that, we had this small plane, and I can't get the picture of my thing. This is the small plane I learned to fly in, and Hugh will probably remember it. It's an Aeronca Champ. This here is a single order, and we tried that out, but it was too expensive. So we kept the Norseman. That was my Norseman. This is flying over the mountains. Now this is in Dawson City. There is a valley to the north, Sela Pass up there, and that line.
This line here.
Yeah, that is a flume. They call it a flume.
Flume, F-L-U-M-E.
Yes, and it transports water from the source all the way to where you need it, which was about 45 miles to Dawson City. And then down there, they had lots of pressure and cleaned off the side hills with water, and then sluiced the gold out of it. Then by that time we bought an airplane, and I happened to go on a holiday to Switzerland. So this is the guy, Hermann Geiger. He used to do rescues in Switzerland with the small Super Cub, and Jim and I, we had a kind of an idea that maybe we could do the same thing. However, as it turned out, it was not required because the helicopters got more powerful, and we were able to land and make rescues wherever necessary. That's me in Teslin Lake. We were looking for a guy who got lost from Teslin to Telegraph Creek, and he got off track and ended up somewhere else, where we finally found him. This is a tent in the summertime in a snowstorm. Yeah. Now, this is already a helicopter to go helicopter skiing. This is a Bell 204, which carries 9 skiers, the guide, and the pilot. So that actually improved the heli skiing to the standard it has now. That you have the whole group in the cabin and fly up there in 5 or 10 minutes, go down and get the others. And that way this machine would handle 4 groups of 10. That was one of the older Alouettes. That's a French machine. That was, it was underpowered, and we couldn't do the job we wanted to. This here is a 204 in the background, and we are all having lunch. This is the small Alouette 2, and it was just too small. This was a geological job with a Bell 47J. This is me on the job, gone fishing. That's a 47. That's me. Now this picture slipped in there, and there is a bucket hanging on the big one. And the people in the water, we just come down, and then we set this thing down, and then it will sink to the upper lip, and they could kind of crawl over in, and then we would pull up and fly them to the next closest dry place. That was a demonstration. This is a drill rig. That's me and my engineer. Now that was on a job in Jasper when we had to do some work on Pyramid Mountain to get towers up there and a cable car from the back for the Commonwealths around the world. Telegraph line. Here is a new invention, was a drill rig, and this is assembled 2 pieces plus the drills and the drillers. And that goes from hole to hole, and they drill a small hole and then fill it with dynamite, and then they have a recording box, and they shoot it, and then you get these wiggles, to see what's underground. That was on the shores of the Yukon River. The old paddle wheelers were all lined up and left to rot. That was getting into heli skiing. That's a 204.